Boom! Just like that, he was live. Good evening, afternoon, morning to you, wherever you are. Hello, Matt, my friend down in the Jacinta Ardern tyranny of New Zealand. Thank you very much, Matt, for being here with us. Appreciate this. So listen, guys. Someone says to me, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Check out my Getter page, LGB 2020. I will do when I get a chance. I will do when I get a chance. I promise you. Yes, John Gleason, great to see you as well. Great supporter of the platform. Listen, folks, we are streaming. We is streaming tonight across the known universe. We're streaming to the Getters. Hi, everybody in Getter. We're streaming over onto Twitter. Hello to all my Twitter friends and Rumble and Odyssey. We are everywhere. MAGA Ultron says good evening. Hi, Leslie Butler. As always, a pleasure to see you. Thank you, Avola Sunglasses, for the kind comments. So all is good. I'm joined, of course, it's a Wednesday. So Wednesdays when we kind of kick back a bit and we talk about, I guess, all the major political things. And we've got lots to cover, loads to cover in the next hour. So hope you'll enjoy this one. As I say, wherever you are, I just hope that you will find this one interesting. Now, look, we've got lots to cover about. So hi, North Ginter. Great to see you as well. So many good friends over on Getter and similarly over on all the other platforms. Wherever you are, as I said, it's good to see you. Now, I bring you news. I have breaking news. I have to share with you before we even start. Bill Clinton has tested positive for COVID. Yeah, I know. I should have probably warned you. I was going to give you sad news. I mean, listen, I feel bad for COVID. What he needs to do is, what Bill needs to do, I'm sure Hillary will take care of COVID, won't I? Someone's called a top boomer. Northern Monkey says, yes, he sees me in the Twitters now. Yes, I is back in the Twitter. Hi, Tommy. Good to see you as well. So Bill's tested positive. I'm not sure. I've lost count of the number of times he's caught COVID. Not sure. But, we can only hope that that Bill makes a full recovery to his normal state, which ain't great, is it really? Mind you, put it like this: if you were married to Hillary Clinton, might you think getting COVID is not the worst thing could happen? Hi, Dave, Ultra Maga, good to see you. Thank you so much. I fly like an eagle. Thank you, Albert. Of course, great to see you guys. Maga says Bill was, of course, a frequent alleged flyer to Epstein Island. So were many other. I saw an up-to-date list of some of the flyers to Epstein Island. There's a few few investigations need to happen there, but we leave that for another evening. So anyway, so Bill Clinton, Bill's gone down with the Rona. I think he's been jabbed about 16 times, maybe. I'm not sure. Could be less, could be more. But yeah, sadly, that dastardly COVID. Oh no, it's got him again. It's got him again. I wonder, does Hillary Clinton, I wonder if she ever tested positive for COVID. I can't believe COVID would be that strong. I think it's more a question of COVID test positive for Hillary Clinton. What do you think? Northern Monkey says, was Bill planning to testify against Hillary? How dare you? How dare you, Northern Monkey, suggest that Hillary Clinton is anything other than the most upstanding? Isn't that right, YouTube? That's what you like. Facebook, that's what you want to hear. The most outstanding citizen ever. She definitely is. She's every bit as legitimate as Joe Biden. Oh, Anyway, that's enough of the nonsense. Before we get into the main topic, I want to talk. About. Well, I've got several topics I want to talk about, but the first thing I wanted to lead into was this whole. I'm sure you've seen it making news all around the world at the moment, and that is the situation in China. Where the evil Xi Jinping, Communist Chinese Party, is cracking down on Chinese people in pursuance of what they call a zero COVID strategy. Now, a zero COVID strategy is really just a short way of saying a zero freedom strategy. That's it's a euphemism, and they like that over there. And of course, we've seen. What are you guys? I'm going to bring Jed. Jed's joined me tonight. I'm going to bring him in this one in just a second, Jed. Just get ready. But I'm so conflicted because I frankly can't believe anything that I see coming out of China in the first instance. I can't believe that. I mean, you remember January, February 2020? Remember the people staggering in the street and falling over dead with COVID? Remember that? I mean, that was a full-on Hollywood production that nobody believes. Nobody believes now. But at the time, it did a job. It made us all believe, oh God, this is the Spanish flu. It's going to get us. So there is that sort of aspect to it, right? So can't always believe what you hear coming out of China. But nonetheless, I think we can see that Chinese people in those cities that are in zero COVID are being treated, atrociously. And we saw the terrible fire that I think took 10 lives, where people in a part of a building, because they were quarantined, they couldn't get out. They burnt to death. Horrible, horrible stuff. So there is that. But then there's the West response to that. Now, Jed, before I cough myself to death here, and by the way, it's not COVID. That's what comes of having a hurried apple before doing one of these streams. Jed, I mean, I'm not sure what I despise the most. The way that the Communist Chinese Party treat their people, or the sheer hypocrisy of people like Justin Trudeau, people like, excuse me, Joe Biden. What do you think?
Good evening, everybody. And Divis brought me in here because he's coughing his guts up, but I'm full of a cold as well. And no, it's not COVID. Because I can tell you it's not COVID because I've not been jabbed. So it's guaranteed it's not COVID. But we all know, it's so safe and effective.
Of course it is, Jed. Yes.
But that, you see, I think it's the hypocrisy that gets me the most. China does what China does. They do what China does. So that's what we expect. But it's the West's media and the West's politicians which are really taking the pee out of us. Because while they demonized the anti-lockdown protests, whether it be in the UK, United States, Canada, whatever it may have been, and they demonized, and they would say we were killing granny, did we care about our kids, etc., etc. They're more than happy to jump on the bandwagon and say this is a fight for freedom, this is a fight against tyranny. Yet they were quite happy to be part of that tyranny while it was over here in the West, and that is what is worse. I know China has always been what China has always been. It's hypocrites in the media.
Well, see, Jed, I think you're right. As often, as always, I think you are pretty much on the button. China is what China is. Now, we know what they're like, and it's nothing to be commended. And I'm no fan of Xi Jinping and the CCP. 100% not. People who have followed me for a long time know that I've raged against them. But by the same token, this is what got me. The thing that, look, Trudeau, Chad, look at the way he terrorized the Canadian. There will be Canadian people on the stream or who will watch the stream. I know that for a fact. And you folks in Canada were terrorized by Trudeau. You lost your job. You weren't allowed to travel. You were told you had to take your COVID jab or you were a non-person. He said the most atrocious things. And Jed, he is lecturing Xi Jinping. Well, excuse me, but that doesn't get a pass.
Pot kettle. Hello.
Pot Republican Rocker says, Confucius says the CCP is AIDS. Well, yes, Republican Rocker, but David Vance says the Trudeau government is AIDS. The Biden government is AIDS. Macron, Ardern, Johnson, all of them. That's sad news. Cognizant Canuck tells me singer Christine McVie has died. Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac. I'm sorry to hear that. That's big news. Sorry to hear that. Indeed, these are the things that you have to react to. So yeah, but Jed, back on topic. Yeah. So Trudeau terrorizes people, forced them to take, the therapies, and now he's lecturing Xi Jinping. I mean, honest to God, the hypocrisy is dripping from that man, and Joe Biden as well. The Democrats, those of you in the States living in Democrat states, know only too well what it was like, again, living under the Biden regime. So I'm sorry, Jed, but I'm not accepting any of this moral. The West is not in a position to morally lecture the East. What do you say?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, they were the tyrants in 2020, 2021, and 2022, the first part of 2022. They were the ones acting like Xi Jinping. They were the ones that wanted people who were unjabbed out of their jobs, without money, no bank accounts, no home, no nothing. Yeah. Just like Xi Jinping is doing.
Yeah. Well, see,
so can they sit there and then moralize that what China is doing is morally wrong, but they were promoting the same thing only 6 months ago, 12 months ago?
Well, yes, and in actual fact, I would even go one further, Jed, which is my style. Just go one step further. I can't resist. So whilst I think everyone watching this and listening to this, Jed, will like you and me, recognize the tyrannical authoritarianism of the Chinese system. We understand that, but the West system is at least as bad and maybe worse. And here's why I think it's worse: because you see, the Chinese don't even pretend to be interested in freedom and liberty. They don't make any pretense of that. Zero. What they do is they're pretty straight.
Do. Have you done a do? You said what they do.
They do. Whereas here in the West, I mean, there's the pretense. Oh, we've got a pretend media that challenges the politicians. Oh, we've got an opposition in our parliaments that can hold government account. It's all crap. None of that actually. I think, Jed, once you've woken up, you see through all that. So in a sense, it is more insidious here in the West. That would be my argument. So in other words, people here don't recognize that they're prisoners. At least in China, they do know that they're prisoners. Sometimes
no, they want to be prisoners. They want to be led, David. They want the government to do everything for them, because they've now been conditioned. And I'm sorry I changed my avatar there, because I'm just looking across the streams and I didn't have an avatar across the streams. Now I've got Peter from Family Guy, but not Jed. So it's a bit weird across all the streams. It's really weird. Sorry, I digress. But no, I see. I've even lost train of thought there, David. I'm sorry.
So the line I'm pushing is that the West is as morally bankrupt as as China. Every bit. And we can't allow these hypocrites like Justin Trudeau, like Joe Biden, like or Emmanuel Macron, like Jacinda Ardern. I mean, these people were horrible. And again, as I say, we have on the stream, I know we got at least one person over down in New Zealand, and they'll know all about how awful it was.
They will, David. They will. Can I just say to Chris, I've got him up on screen there. If you can tweet that over to David or myself, or Jedstar on Twitter, Jedstar on Getter, or David on Getter or on Twitter. I'd like to see that comparison, and maybe we could show that next time we go live, if you could. But it's the hypocrisy, David. It really is. No, I get it. And that's what's worse. I expect China to do what China does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But it's the fact that they spent all that time demonizing hard-working, normal folk who went, whoa, stop. I'm not taking this just yet. And some were just yet. Some have taken it since. Some will never take it. But they wanted to make that informed choice. And the problem is, and it's now being discussed, and when I listen to Vaccine Radio in the mornings with Field Marshal C. Lord Julie Hartley Brewer,
Yeah.
of the 1st Battalion, the Ukraine, Ukraine
Well, resistance.
Yeah. Then there is now information coming out that people are going, well, hang on. No, lockdowns were wrong. Lockdowns did cause more problems. There are issues, and I won't say there are issues with and then the V word. But there are people now coming out and saying that, and it's now being said. And they're now talking about the inquiry in the UK. Is it asking the right questions? And it's not. And an inquiry never asks the right questions. Why? Because the terms of reference are very narrow and very concise. So the people who committed those crimes against their own citizens will never be found guilty.
Yeah. I mean, again, some comments coming in here. I see from Cognizant Canuck says Canada is still off the scale oppressive. Vaccine censorship bills continue to be enacted. Republican Rocker says Trudeau is a CCP puppet. Well, actually, that's right, Republican Rocker. He did say that China was the country he most admired. But then, Jed, here,
but so did Hunt. Hunt reckons we should, if you fly into the country, you should be quarantined at the second you get here, marched off to a room, locked away for 2 weeks, just like his sister was. He thinks that zero COVID was the right attitude, just like he also thinks getting us back into the EU is the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, my view in that is that the purpose of this Conservative government is to set us up for Labour to take us back in. That's my
and my view of both of them, whether it's blue or red, is they are corrupt to the core. And I've said it on your stream before, David, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face. If you want reform in your government, you've got to vote reform.
Yeah, well, you say but we have a point of difference in that, because if you're talking about the Reform Party, I've got this thing called a Judas goat theory, which I go on.
No, David, I do. I get it. Yeah, but you can't keep voting red or blue and expect a different result. Yeah. So you've got to vote for something else, and the only credible. I agree. I've listened to your Judas goat theories. Yeah. In general principle, I'm not disagreeing with you. Normally, me and you agree on most things.
We do.
Generally disagree with you. But we can't just keep voting blue or red.
No, absolutely. No, and there's no doubt about that. I mean, I think there's another interesting aspect of this, which we can move on to, because it's kind of linked. And actually, Republican Rocker makes the point, and he's talking from a US perspective.
I'll try and bring that up, David. His last comment there, I'll try and bring it up.
Nations borders. This is on nations borders, folks. And those in the UK listening to this and watching this may have seen the ONS statistics that came out concerning the census, the 2021 census, and Republican Rocker says nations' borders are being blended as we become a virtual reality of disinformation and tyranny. So Republican Rocker, just on that, we've got stats from 2021 from the census, Jed, and you may have seen some of them. And essentially the issue with the borders is that you now see that several of British cities, London, Birmingham, Jed, I think Manchester as well, these large metropolitan, huge. I mean, London's a city-state basically, but in these cities now, it essentially ethnic minorities who constitute the majority. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, people can, debate till they're blue in the face. But it is nonetheless a demonstrable fact that things are changing. And just the world of 2021 looks very different, Jed, to the world of 2011, which is a previous sentence. And I also saw
census. I think you might have been Freudian slip, but I think you might have been right, because I think we've been dealt.
Actually, a Freudian thing. Thanks, Leslie. Leslie thinks Judas goat as well. But Miami Rose says I'm voting reform. So we've got different people with different view. Shauna Hearn actually asked a good question. What's your view on Sajid Javid's "So What" reply to Farage? He got reissued on Twitter. Did you see this, Jed? So this is where Nigel Farage just repeated the point we've made, about the way that these major British cities are no longer certainly not white British. Are we allowed to say white British? I don't see why not. It's a legal definition of the part of the population. And Farage pointed this out, and Sajid Javid responded to him with, "So what?" Did you see that, Jed? So
I
what?
didn't. I mean, I'm just bringing up that comment so it's relevant to what we're talking about. But the point is, David, none of them, the Tories, Labour, none of them, what they actually want is a country that is that diverse that the indigenous population are wiped out.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal.
Demographically speaking.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, if you go over to Australia, I mean, look how long it's taken people to get the recognition of the indigenous peoples of Australia, for example. Yeah. And they have certain rights, they have reservations, I think. I'm generalizing here, so please, any Australians listening, don't crucify me on the facts. But they are more recognized. The culture is now taught. We, the indigenous people of this country, will be like that. And I'm going to say in 150 years' time.
It's
not going to take that long to get there. But what it will do is take that long for us then to fight to have our culture recognized and taught, just like the Aborigines do. Yeah. We'll always be the minority, but we'll have to fight to have our own land, ancestral lands. We'll have to fight for our culture and our history to be taught in 150 years' time. It will flip completely 180.
Well, if you look how things have changed since the 1960s, Jed, till now, and that's a 60-year span. If you take another 50, 60 years, things are going to be very, very difficult. And then for Sajid Javid to turn around and go, "So what?" is just sickening. It showed. But then again, it's a point we often make, Jed, and we'll put it out to our viewers and listeners. This is why you can't vote the red team and the blue team, Tories, Labour. They're both the same. And by the way, all you Americans, you see your Republicans and your Democrats, they're the same.
Yeah, I get it. It's the red-blue dichotomy that you should vote for. You've got to vote for something else. So, well, I don't know who it would be in the United States. I know there are a few independents, but you can't vote Rhino and you can't vote Donkey or whatever the other one is. Or whatever it is. You can't do that.
Well,
in this country, you can't vote Tory, you can't vote Labour because you'll get the same thing. You can't vote Green because Green is only Labour in a green coat. So you've got to vote. And that's why I just keep saying, David, you said you just got to me. I'm not disagreeing 100% with you, but you've got to vote. If you want reform, you've got to vote reform.
Yeah, well, you've certainly got to vote outside of the mindset of the red party and the blue party. And in actual fact, as you know, Jed, we had on Monday's live stream, we had Dr. Tek Kong from the Alliance for Democracy and Freedom suggesting that what needs to happen is, and this could be done through alliances at local level in certain areas, you may have a particularly strong third alternative party, let's say, could be Reform, could be any of the other ones, and they may have a particularly strong candidate in a particular region. Everyone should get behind that person and push that person. I actually do think that is
in principle, I'm not disagreeing either. Obviously I was there while you spoke to
we can
with Tech, but the problem is you're then splitting and I'll call it the conservative vote with a small c. You're splitting that vote across multiple different parties or multiple different groupings. And that is the problem. You weaken the right, and therefore, in turn, you strengthen the left. So we will end up next time round with a left-wing, certainly with a left-wing government. It won't be the Tories, who are left-wing. They are no longer a right-wing party. You will end up with a left-wing party, which will be Labour, and a splintered right. We have to coalesce around one element which will probably or hopefully will make a difference. And that's why I keep saying reform. It's not the perfect answer, but if everybody coalesces around that's disenfranchised with the Tories or part of the red wall that still don't want to vote Labour, but can't vote Tory, then you're going to vote Reform. You've got
Right.
to show the other two parties.
Okay. That and here that was a party political broadcast on behalf of the Reform Party. Right, Jed. So Sean Ahern says the Judas Goat theory has merit. I referred to Tice as Richard, slightly to the right of Cameron Tice. Yeah, actually, Sean, in many regards, my major problem is actually Richard Tice, not so much Farage. Although he still calls shots as well. I see Alphabet Cat weighing in saying he agrees, Jed, with our idea that you shouldn't vote for any of the mainstream parties, but he also suggests that you can spoil your ballot if you want.
You can, but then you've wasted your votes and you've give one more point to the people you don't want in because you've wasted your vote.
But I kind of despise all politicians. I think all politicians, well, 99.9 of them are on the make. I have no confidence.
No, they're all on the make. Every single one of them is on the make.
Yeah.
Because even if they say they are honest, they are still ripping the taxpayer off with their expenses, their second mortgages. They're still ripping us off, David.
Yeah.
What is it? It's something like I don't know. I think I'm going to get this wrong, and somebody will correct me. It's something like £20 million a year just on expenses for the 650 MPs.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah, absolutely shocking. Well, I mean, I consider Westminster to be an organized tyranny, not a good tyranny. Kim says here, Kim Erswell says, most people vote as they've always done. Mind you, eventually people like us win, and 2023 will wake many up. Well, Kim, I think you'd agree with this, Jed. Especially the one big backfire on the COVID tyranny is loads of people have woken up. Loads of people are now on a journey. Now they mightn't be just quite as far down the rabbit hole as me say, but they're looking around them. And if you talk to even normies know that things are just not good and things are just not right.
But a normie will vote for who they voted for.
Yeah, I agree. That's the problem. But see, this is why democracy arguably is a bad thing. That's why, for example, in the United States, as I'm sure all of my American viewers and listeners understand, you have a constitutional republic, which is not the same as a democracy. And that's because the founding fathers understood that there's real problems with I know we think, democracy is great. I'm not sure it is great because the danger is, Jed, you end up getting ruled by a zombified majority. And that's a difficulty that even the ancient Greeks wrestled
with. But even worse, we could end up being ruled by a zombified minority coalition.
Well, yeah, very possible.
Labour, Greens, and the Communist Party of Scotland.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I suspect in we should put this out there, Jed, and it'll be on record in 2024. I mean, my suspicion is that, the Tories are just, I'll talk about the Tories. The Tories are destroying themselves. It's a simple thing. Did you see that horrendous character whose name I forget, the immigration minister? He was saying this morning that look, we've given up on any notion of stopping the boats in the channel. Any kind of hard response to the illegality crossing the channel, we just can't do that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're writing your own electoral death note. Because you may as well have Labour in power. They would be no worse on immigration than the Tories, because the Tories have said we're not doing anything about this. We're not even sending anyone to Rwanda. So,
and they're also paying other countries to facilitate it.
Yeah,
because France is going to keep going. Oh well, you've given me 58 million last year. You're going to give me 60 million this year, and I didn't stop any last year, and I'm not going to stop any this year. So what will you give me next year?
Well, yeah.
Stop them. Because the problem is they don't want. This is it, David. Neither of the two parties want it stopped.
Oh no!
Notice what Starmer said the other day to the CBI. You cannot keep relying on immigrant labour. But he then qualified that with Labour Party will stop that once the market does no longer requires it. But the market, or words to that effect, I paraphrase.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because the market will always say it needs those immigrants.
I just want to read out a few comments here. Republican Rocker says, without leadership, we befall to anarchy. Read Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan. I have done. Rajamak, also great point. And I agree with you, Rajamak, by the way. Democracy is mob rule and the fake news control the mob. I agree with that. I so agree with that. Dinner Lady says over on YouTube, is she saying there's too much? I think, Jed, you'd agree with this because it's one of your points, I think, that there's so much money being made on this whole racket of vote democracy that of course they don't want to change it. Or in the UK, the two-horse system we have, it exists for the benefit, Jed, of the two parties, not of the British people, not of the British nation.
No.
Nothing to do with that. Yeah.
No, it doesn't, David. And the thing is, it's beyond me that even in current year, that we still have people who go, Labour's shit, but I'm still going to vote Labour. Tories are shit, but I'm still going to. Why? Oh, well, my dad voted Labour, and his dad voted Labour.
Yeah.
And you think, stop, use your mind. But it doesn't matter what you vote for, you get the same policy, because neither of the parties want you to have a high-paying job with success. Your home, they'll all say, "Oh, you can't get on the property ladder." They don't want you on the property ladder, because if they did, they'd stop bringing in 500,000 migrants a year net.
Yeah. Well,
they wouldn't let them in because we're not building 500,000 homes every year.
No, obviously not. But this British government prioritizes migrants over
over everybody, over nurses, over veterans, over hard-working families. Everything is everybody is second fiddle to the mass migration.
And do you know what's really bad about? And you're right, of course. But what really bothers me about that is I know people on some of my social media platforms, and some of them, Jed, they get into difficult situations, and they need to get themselves a house. They need to get a roof over their heads, and that many veterans fall into this situation as well. And they're all down the bloody queue. They're not. They should be priorities. They absolutely should be number one priorities. Instead, I'm afraid the vast numbers of so-called asylum seekers and economic migrants, whatever they are, they're the people who are prioritized. They're the people the government's looking out for. It's absolutely disgraceful.
You should have known the writing was on the wall when we discovered, for example, that 1,400 girls in Rotherham were systematically raped and prostituted, and the parties, both parties, covered it up. The police covered it up. The institutions covered it up. That should have shown everybody in this country that your government, whether it be local government, whether it be the police force, whether it be the national government, none of them, absolutely none of them, care about the people of this country. What they want is this to be a multiracial, multicultural existence experiment, while they sit in their ivory towers away from the disaster that they have caused, reaping in millions. Look at the millions we're now and billions we're now talking about for PPE that is stored in China. 6.8 billion worth of PPE that doesn't work either, but it's stored in China and it's 6.8 billion pounds worth. Wasted money.
Yeah.
Look at the money that was wasted on PPE to friends and associates of the Tory party. They don't care about us. Look at the money that they're throwing at the migrant crisis across the channel. They don't care. They don't want it fixed. Why? Because they don't want people like me and you, the folks of this country, they don't want us to be in the majority. They want us to be a minority. Therefore, control the narrative.
Right. Talking of being in a minority then, and I'm just wanting to reference a point I see being talked about over in Getter. You will have also seen, Jed, in the census figures that for the first time in British history, I guess, people who identify themselves as Christians are in the minority. There's less than 50% of the British population now identifying themselves as Christians. Doesn't mean that this is not about people who go to church. This is just people who see themselves as being, whatever their faith group is. Now, the thing about this is that I believe that whether people choose to have a faith and whatever that faith is, entirely a matter down to them. It's not something the state should ever have to mandate, except in some states you don't get that choice. But in this state, I think that's a matter of personal choice, Jed. But what I did notice was that kind of irritated me. I saw instantly some of these kind of equality, diversity groups were saying, oh well, now that the Christians are in a minority, we need to make some changes. Well, and I think what they're saying is, oh well, like, for example, the UK King Charles, he's also the head of the Church of England. So that's problematical because, of course, most people in his kingdom aren't Christians. So we need to maybe get rid of that. This is what these people are about. They agitate and they agitate and they agitate till they get what they want. And then the minute they play the victim, Jed, all the way along, till they get what they want. Then the minute they're in the ascendancy, you will know all about it. You will discover that you don't get the choices that they were asking you to give them. You don't get the freedoms that they insisted upon that they get. You will be. So the danger for me is that, or the thing that worries me is, really bothers me, is that it doesn't surprise me, this stat, because the likes of the Church of England is a fallen church. It's been under attack from within Albert Clutterbuck for as long as I can remember, by so many shills within it. I know there's some decent people within it, but there's a lot that aren't. And so we just see, Jed, our culture being, our faith and culture being decimated, absolutely decimated all around us. And it bothers me because, as I say, as Republican Rocker said earlier in one of his comments, without faith or a strong moral compass, one is without hope.
There you go. I'll come back on that, David.
Yeah, Albert's right. Yeah.
He's right. He's spot on. But the reason they've spent, 30, 40 years probably demonizing Christianity. The media demonizes it. It goes after conservatives because they believe in a man and a woman, etc., and marriage and no sex before marriage, etc., etc. Good Christian conservative values. So they've been demonized and they've been punished for the past 30 or 40 years. The church in the past 10 years, maybe more, has also jumped on board with that, with LGBT, legalized same-sex marriages. So the church at its core is rotten.
Yeah.
So the church isn't. What happened during COVID? The church shut its doors at the time that people needed, not everybody, but people would need spiritual guidance and spiritual strength. And I'm not a practicing Christian or anything like that, but they would need that strength. What did the church do? It closed its doors. What does the church? It demonizes man and woman together in matrimony over the same-sex marriages, LGBTQ plus A, B, C, D, F, G, all that sort of the alphabet soup people. It prioritizes those people over Christian values, and it's by design. And so now that this comes out and we're now less than 50% of this country, well, that's great, because in 20 years' time or 30 years' time or 40 years' time, it will be in its single figures of percentages. And that is then when they go, well, it's no longer a Christian country. What is the largest religion? Oh, might it be Muslim?
Well, yeah. So Rajamak says the church needs a few tables overturned, referencing Jesus doing that. In the so I get all that. I mean, it is. By the way, a lot of people have brought up this. Jed, I've seen this brought up in several streams here. This was the video that made its way around social media. You're bound to have seen it on Getter and Twitter, wherever you are, of a gang of Albanians celebrating being in the UK and showing complete contempt. By the way, they didn't look very, they're fleeing war, Jed. They're fleeing war. Oh, they're traumatized. They weren't in the least traumatized. They were laughing in the face of the British people, the good nature of the British people, and then, of course, they're laughing at our cowardly government who's let them in. Did you see that video of the?
No, I have, David, and they are mocking us.
They are,
they're literally taking the urine out of us. And why? because our government will back them up. Our government are paying them. Our government say, no, come on, 4-star? No, we'll put you in a 5-star because that's what you deserve. What, you're claiming asylum? What? You're under persecution from your government? Oh, how dreadful. We can't send you back. Here's a mobile phone. Here's some money. Here's 3 meals a day. Full National Health Service. Oh, you won't get your teeth done? Yeah, no problem. Get to the front of your queue. You want to see a doctor? Oh, there's one here. We've got one in the centre for you right here now. Go and see him.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to bring your family across? Oh, because you're entitled to a family life. Yeah, go on. Go and get it. You want to be a student? Oh, you can bring even more people across with you. Why not? We're the only country that allows students to bring the bloody families with them.
Yeah, but that's all deliberate. That's clergy. That is all about the Great Reset.
It is about taking us to the minority, David.
Oh, well, yeah, but don't worry about it. But it's okay, Jed. I bring you good news. Don't worry about it because, and this is where the bread and circuses come in. Did you see that those in the UK will pick up on this? Not sure about our American friends, but our previous health secretary, Matt Hancock, the guy who presided over what happened in the care homes where lots of elderly people died having been booted out of hospital. I remember that back in March, April, May 2020. Matt came third in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. He's become a national hero. 10 million people, Jed, get this, 10 million people voted for this.
Absolutely. Really?
Well, all right.
Really?
Maybe you're right. Yeah, okay, well, maybe not. Well, we were told 10 million people have voted for Matty. He's a hero. Remember, he got 11 stars at one point. A true hero. And don't worry about his victims, for goodness sake. And don't mention Damazalam or Midazalam. Don't mention that, right? Shh. So we had that. And then, Jed, and I know you're a huge football fan. We've got the World Cup on, and so we got all that. So here's my thing, Jed. Here's my thing. These are all distractions, right? We're being distracted, as we always are. Only some of us have woken up to it now, so you don't get to distract us anymore. You know, do we care about Matt Hancock in the jungle? No, we could stay there forever, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, Matt Kim, we will win in the end. And the football distraction. Oh yeah, come on, the 3 Lions. Oh, this sort of diversionary nonsense. Again, it just leaves me cold. I don't care about any of it. Do you, Jed?
No. You know, me and my good lady now, we watch a lot of stuff on Netflix, a lot of old series before things went woke, before the cancer set in.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We watch a lot of reruns and things like that. Because live TV now is just a cancer eating away at you. And then people go, but it's a bit of distraction, you know. For example, and I know they're not on now, but, you know, oh, it's Saturday night takeaway. Oh, you know, it's Anton Deck. Aren't they brilliant? No, they are distracting you.
They are.
A reason. Yeah.
Yes.
They are distracting you for a reason. They then make you think, oh, the world's not too bad, actually. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at the guests they've had. Look at I'm a Celebrity. They got Matt Hancock. Oh, he turned out to be a nice person, didn't he, really, in the end? No, the murderer. He murdered, allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. You know, he gave the order to move the old age pensioners into the care homes from the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, he did. So, he did. And he prescribed in the space of 5 months the same amount of midazolam which had been prescribed in 2 years. Now, those are facts. So you can fact check me all you want, Facebook and YouTube, but that's indisputable. So yeah, I mean, but then you see, Jed, you mentioned like Anton Deck, the 2 presenters of Saturday Night Takeaway, and you see, I think they're all part of this corrupt system. This sort of distract the normies with all these sort of pretend things and suck them into it, get them involved.
But have you noticed all the things more often than not that people get sucked into are reality shows like I'm a Celebrity, like The Only Way is Essex. I've never watched it. I don't even know it's still on. No. But you know, Love Island, all these reality type programs. You know, we used to also have it with Take Me Out with Paddy McGuinness. Yeah, no likey, no likey. Yeah, but the point is, it's reality TV. It's bending reality to make you think that's what the world is like. Just like Gogglebox. I watched Gogglebox, the old stuff, before it went woke. And then I was quite surprised when we spoke about it last week or week before that it's still on TV, because I don't watch the current ones, watch the old ones.
Yeah.
Point of that is, look, we feed these people certain programs for them to watch to get their reactions. And we're now to the stage, me and my missus, we've been through the series several times, but we're at the point again now where everything is about Donald Trump and Brexit. And every single person on that program hates Donald Trump and thinks Brexit was wrong. Or, leading up to the referendum, it was wrong.
Yeah.
What a surprise that they randomly picked, a dozen couples, a dozen families to watch TV and see what their reactions are. And every single one of them hates Donald Trump, thinks he's a cheat, hates Farage, think Farage should be locked away, Farage should never be on TV, etc., etc. And Brexit is wrong. It's amazing now, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, it is a complete psyop. It's absolutely a psyop. And, Brian says here over on YouTube, he says 90% of MSM fear porn headlines are pure BS. If you bothered, yeah, absolutely. But see, Brian, here's the problem with what you're saying. Most people don't read beyond the headlines.
Oh, that's it. They don't read the paragraphs, they read the headline.
They read the headlines. And the media know that, and the government know that. They all know that people are very busy, and they'll pick up a headline and they'll go, and maybe 1 in 10, Jed, maybe that percentage might decide to read. Well,
I mean, when there's people obviously in America I follow that do YouTube stuff, Matt.
Yeah.
I forget his name. Anyway, but they read the articles. I know Tim Pool will read an article top to bottom, if you see what I mean, and then analyze it. And the thing is, also a lot of stuff that he's put out, particularly by CNN and NBC, ABC, sort of people. The first 3 or 4 paragraphs are anti what anti whatever it is, and then you'll find that the last couple of lines of it are actually then say the opposite, which is the truth. But they are so far down in the article that normal people or most people don't get that far down the article, because they've read the first 3 or 4 paragraphs. They know what the story's about. They know, for example, it was anti-Trump. Yeah, Trump's evil, Trump's evil, Trump's evil, Trump's evil. Trump said this, Trump said that, Trump said that, Trump said that, and then they get to the last line of the last paragraph, and it said, allegedly.
Yeah,
but don't get to that line. That point.
Yeah, although, hey, you mentioned Tim Pool. Did you see that Tim Pool had Kanye West, or Ye, as he calls himself, on there yesterday? But Ye walked out when they started discussing a particular issue, which we're not going to raise here. I saw that was some amusement. I'm not sure about Kanye West's stability. Not sure.
No, I think, again, he's one of these super mega stars where he's surrounded by people who affirm what he says.
Yeah.
But that's all they do. And when you see it, and I know we've just had the sad news of, and my good lady will be absolutely devastated about Fleetwood Mac. But but the point is, when we see, these superstars like Amy Winehouse, etc., and they've committed suicide, they're found dead in a pool of their own misfortune. Whitney Houston, Prince, you name it. Yeah, they've been surrounded by yes people. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, do this, do that. Yeah, well, that's right. And they suck their money, they suck the fame from these people to the point that these people end up killing themselves in one form or another, whether it be drug overdose, whether it be drowning in a pool, whatever it might be. And all they do is then pack up and move to the next victim.
Yeah.
And Kanye West is now in that group of everybody affirming what he says to be correct, just so they can be with Ye. With Ye. Imagine calling yourself Ye. What a pillock.
Well, I mean, is it any different to Prince calling himself Squiggle?
No, that's it. Yeah, or the artist formerly known as Prince. But that's my point. The people around him affirmed that. Said, that sounds great. That's a great idea. Come on, you go for it. Look at Elvis. Yeah. Elvis turned into a fat slob because nobody said to him no.
Hang on, Jed. You have denied the people watching these platforms your stunning, off the record rendition of Purple Rain, which I have heard
Oh,
you
well,
sing
yeah.
more than once. Yeah, a big Prince fan, a big artist formerly known as Prince fan.
Yeah. Well, it's Ged, formerly known as Ged.
So yeah, so it is all a bit sad. I see your comment, Republican rocker. We'll not put it up on the screen regarding Christy McVie, but yeah, I just say I'm just a fan. I liked she wrote some really good songs.
No, I mean, me and the missus went to see him in Manchester a few years ago, a good few years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad. But every time I now hear a death of somebody, my first reaction is to think what Republican rocker has said on Getter. And
I know.
again, I won't put it up for obvious
We can't
reasons.
go there. No, we can't go there. But same here. I mean, I think we can say it died suddenly. I think we can. There's a lot of people die. Now, of course, people do die suddenly. That's the other thing to be said.
It's amazing how many more now.
But there's a lot of people dying suddenly, and a lot of young people dying suddenly as well. And I think it's a reasonable comment to suggest that should be being investigated with every vigor by the authorities instead.
Well, actually, David, on Vaccine Radio today, that was being discussed, the excess.
Oh, was it, right?
Yeah, it was discussed. I missed the point because I was on a call.
Yeah.
But I know it was on, and I know it's gone out as a small clip from the show. But you'd done your podcast earlier. You did your podcast today about, your exclusive video available at davidvance.net, exclusive video on excess death count, the official figures from the YouTube government figures.
YouTube don't even care.
Well, no, YouTube don't care, do they? Facebook, they make their own rules. They make their own truth.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but I mean, So I mean, Brian says Gavin McInnes has gone in on how celebs are manipulated and controlled. Oh yeah, I think Brian, we pretty much see that, and for what it is, we saw it over the last couple of years. I mean, how many big name celebrities come out and publicly questioned what governments were doing? How many?
No, but there are some now because even politicians know that now the tide is changing, and they're trying to get on the bandwagon of going, oh well, no, I never supported it, because they know some part, and I don't believe this will happen, but I hope it will happen. There will be some sort of Nuremberg, and they're trying to get on the right side, so they're not part of it.
Well, there's a definite distancing going on, and we've seen it here in the UK, and we see it in the States as well. Although, interestingly enough, Jed, I mean, Fauci, Dr. Anthony Fauci, right up to the very end, was saying to people that you got to go ahead, you got to take this. It's 100% safe, it's 100% effective. And you just think to yourself, like, so he's not distancing himself, but maybe he can't because he's so involved, let's say, that there is there's no way out for people like him. But some of the lesser known, like in the UK, Piers Morgan, Jed, people like Piers Morgan, but I mean, 100% pro lockdown or all of the rest of it. And now he's saying, well, and we've talked about this before here on the channel. He says, well, the science changed, so I've changed.
No, never did. And anybody saying the science changed is lying to you, so we can get on the other side of the fence because they can see what's coming down the track.
Yeah. That's the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that in this one here, the concerns were there from the beginning. Yeah. And so, we
were demonized for our concerns.
We were steamrollers.
We were granny killers for our concerns.
Yeah, we were super spreaders. Yeah. I mean, I had the honor of being in the UK when this whole COVID nonsense started. There was a couple of events, if you remember, just before lockdown, and they said these are super spreader events. And one of them was the Cheltenham Gold Cup back in March, whatever date it was, March the 17th or 18th of 2020. I was there. I was a super spreader. Oh my God, how many grannies did I kill? Maybe not as many as Medazzle and Matt Hancock and his policies, allegedly. But it was. It is fascinating I see Kim Kurzweil saying, what does Gary Lineker say? You might be tinfoil hat. Oh, Jed, I'm so gutted. Now that I'm back on Twitter, Gary is me blocked still. I cannot
I bet you are gutted.
Well, I mean, is there anybody that Gary Lineker hasn't blocked on Twitter? Might be a better question. I'm not sure that there is. He seems to have blocked half the UK population, if not more.
He's blocked anybody that doesn't agree with him.
Yeah, but isn't that the perfect summation of the problem we have with, I was going to say the left, and it is broadly speaking the left, but some on the right as well, that if you don't agree with them, they just can't handle it. They're immature.
No, I disagree, David. I think people on the right want an argument. They want the fight. I think people on the left don't fight because the evidence is not on their side. Truth and evidence is not with them. So what they do is they get into a small debate, and you'll see it, a couple of backwards and forwards, and then instantly they'll block you. And I've had that when I've gone on about climate change or climate hoax. And I'll have a back and forth with somebody on Twitter 2 or 3 times, and then instantly what they'll do is they'll put out a smearing comment about you and then block you, so you can't do anything about that comment.
What they do, it is totally what they do. One thing I've noticed on Twitter now that I'm back on it, apart from all the really, really nice comments, you get people, Jed. They usually have about 2 followers, or if that, and they'll do that. They'll send you a snarky comment, and then they block you because they're scared of debate. But I would challenge back and say that, whilst broadly speaking, I accept what you say regarding the right. There were people on the right, so-called right anyway, who during the COVID tyranny were 100% behind, the lockdowns and the vaccine passports and all of that stuff. And they didn't seem to like it when we would challenge them either. So, actually, Leslie Butler is 100% right. She says, Leslie, amen to that. Not one granny was killed due to super spreaders. Absolutely right, Leslie Butler. But
they were killed by government policy.
100%, and that is that's the thing that we need to sort of talk about. Just like someone said to me today, I was, did you see that food inflation has gone up to
14 point something percent?
It's really high, yeah. So it's in the low teens, and I said I was basically criticizing. I was saying the government's caused this, and someone said to me, Jed, well, how can you say that? And I said, well, it's simple. Government policy during lockdown and subsequent has essentially caused economic chaos, which we're picking the bill up. And then energy costs, which are a consequence of government policy, are reflected, in manufacturing and whatnot. So that, yes, I'm sorry, people don't want to hear it, but I'll say it. The government is to blame for it.
No, they are, David. I don't disagree. Yeah, and they could solve a good percentage of it in the UK, certainly, by stopping fuel duty.
But they won't. They won't.
Yeah, but they won't. And they can stop it with your household bills by cutting the green energy levels. Sorry, I'm a bit bunged up tonight, guys. I'm full of a cold. But they can solve it with that. But they won't, because they don't want to solve it. But notice what they did during the pandemic. They locked you all in your homes, and they printed money like it was going out of fashion.
Yeah. How was that going to?
What we could do, David, if the whole world decided to do that and say, bollocks, you don't have to work, or we'll just give you some money. That is hyperinflation. That is Venezuela style hyperinflation. Yeah. Where you've got a wheelbarrow full of paper that is worth less than a bog roll. But that is really where they want you to go. Remember, WEF, you will own nothing. And we say it every time. We say it on every stream. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Because what they're doing is going, well, you can't afford your mortgage, so we'll take your house off you. You can't afford your mortgage, we'll take your house off you. You've no savings. You're not making any money on your savings. You can't afford to run a car. So you can't even have an electric car. You can't have an electric car because the grid won't handle an electric car.
That's right.
Today, 3% of our energy came from wind.
I saw that.
3% of our energy came from wind. Yet Boris reckons we could get all our energy from solar. Utter baloney.
Well, actually, Jed, just on that, because I think I do have it. Let me just because we finish in this, but this is an important point, folks. Let me just, I'm just scrolling through furiously some of my images. Oh, there was, oh, I must have deleted it. It was,
I need tunes.
yeah, you need tunes. Yeah, tunes
I can play you a tune.
help you breathe more easily. And
Yeah, apparently. I got
to be
fisherman's friends here. Yeah.
I'm not, don't go there. Don't go there with a fisherman's friend. I think they reckon there's something you have to do to a fisherman's friend. We're not going to talk about that. Leslie Butler is in the room. We have to behave with dignity. So no, but this guy was saying, Jed, that it was a letter. I'm sure I put it up on somewhere. I can't remember. You put it up together. This guy had written a letter, basically saying, Jed, that 2 nights ago, as you say, when if the UK needs 38 gigawatts of energy, I understand, in
the round, yeah,
in the round, yeah, 38, and when was only given, I think it was even less than one, but it was only a couple of gigawatts, because it was dark, because he was taking it, he was looking on the grid at 7:10 at night, so the solar was given nothing because it was dark. And 20%, Jed, was coming from the gas stations and another 4% from nuclear. So when you add that together, it doesn't come to 30, it doesn't even come to 38, right? It was less. We get the balance from Europe. The UK is in an economic energy mess. And the notion that we can transit, Jed.
Absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, no, we can transit if UK population, unless you're ultra rich and part of the government, stop using energy completely. You go back to go back to chopping a tree down the road. Oh no, we can't do that because we chopped all those trees down hundreds of years ago, didn't we? We don't have mass forests now. But that's the point. So we're supposed to be a 21st century global planet. And we're talking about blackouts and brownouts.
That's right.
Because they can't produce enough energy.
Yeah, you're right.
We're talking about paying people on smart meters not to use energy. So the point is, money isn't the object here. The object is to ration the energy. And they're rationing the energy because of the government policy that says we have to go to green, non-carbon energies like solar, wind, and hydro, of which clearly are woefully not supplying and can't supply the base load, because it's the base load that you need. They can't base load because even we're at I think it's 30 megawatts of wind power maximum, but that's if every single one of them was on and it was the perfect wind at the perfect day. Boris wanted to take that to 40, which he then believed would be enough. Over the 30 megawatts that you was talking about would be enough to power the UK. But that's only on the perfect day with the perfect wind at the perfect time. That's not all day long, every day. The base load has to come from nuclear, gas, and coal.
Yep, that's absolutely right. As Republican Rocker says, fossil fuels trump green energy sources. They always do.
Every time. And the reason being is because fossil fuels are instant. They give you instant energy when you want it. When wind dies down, solar dies down, what do? They crank up the gas. They crank up the coal. They crank up the oil. Why? Because it's instant energy.
Yeah, but as Airstrip One News says over, I see as well that all EV chargers are smart now. So the grid decides how much you can charge them. That's also a good point, Airstrip One, Jed, that even if you could get the electric, theoretically, you still mightn't be able to get it.
Okay. I'm going to take you to the end goal. So let's say at the moment, 100% of people can afford a petrol or diesel car. We'll just say that as a blanket statement. In the end, 25% of people will only be able to run an electric car.
Yeah.
But those 25% of the population, when you go to, and it's coming in now. So they kept going, oh, I'll get an electric car. I don't pay road tax. Yeah, and I get my 2p per watt from the 13 amp plug out of my house.
Yeah.
But now, if you have an electric charger fitted in your property, it has to be on a separate meter. Why does it be on a separate meter? So they can charge you a different price than what they charge you for your standard home electricity.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in road tax for.
That's right. They are.
Because they're not getting the revenue from other cars, and petrol and diesel cars. So the
Right.
point is, all the taxes you pay will be heaped onto electric cars, and then they'll go, oh, you've used your quarter of electricity this month. You no longer can charge that electric car. We've cut you off.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the plan is. I agree with that. Now, listen, Jed, we've gone past our allocated time, but there's a few things I think we want to maybe just remind everybody that, of course, the davidvance.net site, there it is, my friends, wherever you are watching this. All our podcasts, all our videos, all our live streams, all our articles, everything in one convenient spot for you to go to. So do make sure you go and visit davidvance.net. If you can do that, that'd be great. As you can see, that's the first thing. Second thing is actually just to let you know in advance that next Monday, we have a special guest in the form of a lady called Jennifer Say, S-E-Y, Jennifer Say. Jennifer's new book is Levi's Unbuttoned, but it's an interesting story. But yeah, there it is. So Jennifer, she was on her way to be CEO of Levi Strauss. Yeah, so this is going to be a real interesting one. But she objected to schools in California, kids having to be forced into masks. And basically Levi turned around her and said, well, look, you got a choice. You know, if you're going to you can pursue that line if you want, but you're going to have to leave the company. So she did. And she's talking to me. Jennifer sounds really interesting person, very principled, gave up all that sort of corporate glory, if you like. As she says, the woke mob took my job, but gave me my voice. And there she is in her pair of denims. I think, Jed, I'll have to put my denims on.
We only see Head and Shoulders on the stream there.
I know you just have to take my word for it. So we got that coming up on Monday night, folks, at the usual time. We got that stream coming up. Is there anything else, Jed, I've forgotten to say?
I just want to say about the excellent podcast for today. There's a couple of new articles on today as well. Certainly one from our good friend City Troll. I'm just scrolling down now so I can bring it up on screen. Where he put out a couple over the past couple of days. I'm bringing it up. So here's one of City Trolls. Highlighted on the screen. I think he's done another one a little bit further down. Yes, he has. A good contributor, Andy Mack. Has done this one. Both good reads. If you want to go and have a read of them, guys, please.
Because remember, on davidvance.net, it's not just me. It's not just me. Other people are very welcome to put up their views and their thoughts, and we will publish that. So just to let you know.
If you've got an article, guys, you don't have to give your name or anything like that. We will call you whatever you want or no name at all. Just submit your article either as a Word doc or paste it into the box here, and you can send it off to us. We'll review it and stick it on there. Have your voice. Have your say.
Right. Okay. Okay, that is here endeth the advertisement for davidvance.net. Here endeth my contribution for tonight and Jed's. I think what we like to do is we always do this now. We've established this as our routine. We'll say our good night or good evenings or good mornings to you guys. Thank you all for being here. And then Jed's going to play you out with a little video, which I haven't seen. So I have disclaim all responsibility.
I'll just set this up as well, David, if you don't mind.
For whatever you're going to see next, right? I haven't a clue what it is, but anyway, Jed's going to play it. I want to thank you guys over on the Getters. Thank you for being there on the YouTubes. Thank you for being there on the Twitters. Thank you for being there on the Rumbles and the rest of it. Appreciate your time. Thanks for spending this special hour with us in the middle of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. It's entertaining from my end, and I think, Jed, it's over to you and the video.
Yeah, not a problem. Right, I'll just quickly set this up. I've particularly gone over it tonight. Where I'll vote for Labour. Why? Because my dad did. Because his granddad did. How stupid can you be? Just people are stupid. There's some people are really, really stupid, and this highlights how stupid some people are. Here we go.
Like, you can't even see a shadow or anything, though?
Yeah. Like, I don't even think... Look.
Oh, yeah, you better hide. They're gonna get you.
What's he looking at? Somebody's just walking by.
Somebody's walking by.
You, dude. Criminals just get dumber and dumber, don't they? Just dumber and dumber. Hello? Don't do that. Excuse me.
Yeah, knock on the window.
Hello?
He'll hear.
Excuse me.
He still isn't.
No idea.
He still
No
isn't
idea
here.
anybody's in here. Like,
Oh my
you gotta be
gosh.
kidding me right now.
Oh, there he goes. He's gonna try.
All right.
Wait, let him know. Let him know. Yeah.
All right, you mean roll down the window?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah, do it.
Excuse me, sir. Hey, how? Oh,
Oh.
did he faint?
He faint.
Sir, are you okay? Sir?